Krishna, dear devotees, let's chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Presthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvahi Pracharini, Devi Shesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Jai Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita Shloka. We are going to recite from Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 text 8. So one second. Lokesh?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please want to recite first.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
No, wait.
No, this is one second. Hello. Because we missed Monday's class, so we are going to learn a new shloka first, and then you'll go first, okay? Chapter 10, text 8. Everyone, please repeat. Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhu.
mattah sarvam pravartate
Matta sarvam pravartate.
matva bhajante mam
Iti matva bhajante mam.
bhava samanvitaha.
Bhuta bhavan
Aham
samanvita.
sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhu.
mattah sarvam pravartate
Matta sarvam pravartate.
iti matva bhajante mam
Iti matva bhajante mam.
bhava samanvitaha.
Bhuta bhava samanvita.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhu.
mattah sarvam pravartate
Matta sarvam pravartate.
iti matva bhajante mam
Iti matva bhajante mam.
bhava samanvitaha.
Bhuta bhava
I am
samanvita.
the source of all spiritual and material worlds.
I am the source of all spiritual and material world.
Everything emanates from me.
Everything emanates
The
from me.
wise who perfectly know this
The wise who perfectly know this
engage in my devotional service
engage in my devotional
and
service
worship me with all their hearts.
and worship me with all their hearts.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So go ahead, Lokesh.
Sarvasya prabhu matta sarvam pravartate matvam bhajante mam bhuta bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material wealth. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Vishnu Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Agam Sharvasya Prabhavo Mata Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam
Buddha.
Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada.
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां भूतभावः समन्विताः. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else need to go first? Okay, we'll go in order. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the humble devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
mattah sarvam pravartate
mattaha sarvam pravartate
iti matva bhajante mam
iti matva bhajante mam
buddha bhava samanvitaha.
buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita. Later, I'll come back to them. Isha.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samamritaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Krishna Shish.
सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावा समन्विता. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Madhava. Samanvitaha. Rasapriya.
Aham sarvasya bhagavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhasate mam buddha bhava samannita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu. Not ready? Come back. Saujanya Mataji. Oh, you're there. Go ahead, Prabhu.
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तिते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समन्विताः. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Hare
Krishna.
Others are not there.
Okay. Saujanya Mataji and Pragya.
Hare Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samannita. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this and engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Hare Krishna. Mataji is there?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhuva samanvita. Buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Hare Krishna. Inba Inia, Jai Shri Mataji, Jai Ganesh Prabhu. Not ready? Can come back to you later. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhavam samanvitah. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Usha Mataji, Medha.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji. Can you give me that 2 more minutes, Mataji?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So those who are Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanvitah. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise can perfectly know this and engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Medha.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you. Inba. Jai Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Sorry Mataji. Samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation. Samanvitaha. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Jai Shri Mataji is there.
Namaste.
Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you. Neelambari Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Aham sarvasya prabha mata sarva pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thank
Yes.
you, Mother.
Thank you. Anyone has not recited yet? Everyone has recited. Okay. So we'll begin Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4. We are going to start. We just started. We are going to read about Ambarish Maharaj's life, the pastimes of Ambarish Maharaj. So, in the previous chapter, chapter 3, we read about the descendants of King Sharyati, one of the sons of Vaivasvata Manu. Then, in this chapter, chapter 4, we are reading about the descendants of another son of Vaivasvata Manu called Nabhaga. Actually, Nabhaga. Manu's son is Nabhaga, Nabhaga's son is Nabhaga. So, Nabhaga's son is Ambarish Maharaj. So, we are reading about Ambarish Maharaj. What did we read so far? Sukadeva Goswami said, the son of Nabhaga named Nabhaga lived for a long time at the place of his spiritual master. Therefore, his brothers thought that he was not going to become a grihastha and would not return. Consequently, without providing a share for him, they divided the property of their father among themselves. When Nabhaga returned from the place of his spiritual master, they gave him their father as his share. Nabhaga inquired, "My dear brothers, what have you given to me as my share of our father's property?" His elder brothers answered, "We have kept our father as your share." But when Nabhaga went to his father and said, "My dear father, my elder brothers have given you as my share of property," the father replied, "My dear son, do not rely upon their cheating words. I am not your property." Nabhaga's father said, "All the descendants of Angira are now going to perform a great sacrifice, but although they are very intelligent, on every sixth day they will be bewildered in performing sacrifice and will make mistakes in their daily duties." So we read so, so we read all this, right? How Lord Shiva. Yeah, we finished reading all.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji, we read all this.
Yeah.
Lord
So I
Shiva's
just
cycle also we finished.
yeah. Because I didn't bookmark it. I'll just read the translations. Nabhaga's father continued, "Go to those great souls and describe two Vedic hymns pertaining to Vaishvadeva." So because they forget the hymns, right? Every sixth day, they forget the procedure. So you go and you tell them these two Vedic hymns. When the great sages have completed the sacrifice and are going to heavenly planets, they will give you the remnants of the money they have received from the sacrifice. Therefore, go there immediately. Thus, Nabhaga acted exactly according to the advice of his father, and the great sages of the Angira dynasty gave him all their wealth, and they went to the heavenly planets. Thereafter, while Nabhaga was accepting the riches, a black-looking person from the north came to him and said, "All the wealth from this sacrificial arena belongs to me." Nabhaga then said, "These riches belong to me. The great saintly persons have delivered them to me." When Nabhaga said this, the black-looking person replied, "Let us go to your father and ask him to settle our disagreement." In accordance with this, Nabhaga inquired from his father. The father of Nabhaga said, "Whatever the great sages sacrificed in the arena of the Daksha Yagya, they offered to Lord Shiva as his share. Therefore, everything in the sacrificial arena certainly belongs to Lord Shiva." Thereupon, After offering obeisances to Lord Shiva, Nabhaga said, O worshipable Lord, everything in this arena of sacrifice is yours. This is the assertion of my father. Now with great respect I bow my head before you, begging your mercy. Lord Shiva said, whatever your father has said is the truth, and you also are speaking the same truth. Therefore I, who know the Vedic mantras, shall explain transcendental knowledge to you. Lord Shiva said, now you may take all the wealth remaining from the sacrifice, for I give it to you. After saying this, Lord Shiva, who is most adherent to the religious principles, disappeared from that place. If one hears and chants or remembers, hears, chants, or remembers this narration in the morning and evening with great attention, he certainly becomes learned, experienced in understanding the Vedic hymns, and expert in self-realization. So I think we have to start with text 13 now. No, actually we read that also. From Nabhaga, Maharaj Ambarish took birth. Maharaj Ambarish was an exalted devotee, celebrated for his great merits. Although he was cursed by an infallible Brahmana, the curse could not touch him. Now Parikshit Maharaj gets a question, right? Ambarish Maharaj gets cursed, but still the curse doesn't touch him. King Parikshit inquired, O great personality, Maharaj Ambarish was certainly most exalted and meritorious in character. I wish to hear about him. How surprising it is that the curse of a Brahmana, which is insurmountable, could not act upon him. So we'll start with text 15, 16. Okay. Actually, this was the bookmark. I don't know why I didn't realize that. I was thinking it was text 4. This is chapter 4, text 15, 16. Anyway, it was a recap because we got a break in between. So whose turn is it to read today? Nobody remembers.
I only remember we didn't read for a long time.
I read that day, Mataji, and I think after me also people read. I think Achinte Prabhu also started, but I'm not sure about in
Aditi Lata.
Aditi
So we'll just
Mataji
start.
read, yeah.
So we'll just start with Aditi Lata Mata. Sri Shuka Uvacha Ambarisho Mahabhagaha Saptadvipavatim Mahim Avyayam cha Shriyam Labdva Vibhavam Chatulam Bhuvi Meneti Durlabham Pumsam Sarvam Tat Swapna Samstutam Vidvan Vibhava Nirvanam Tamo Vishati Yat Puman. Yes, Mataji.
Hare
Aditi Lata
Krishna,
Mataji.
yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances of glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances one more time. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Sukhdev Goswami said, Maharaj Ambarish, the most fortunate personality, achieved the rule of the entire world, consisting of 7 islands, and achieved inexhaustible, unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. Although such a position is rarely obtained, Maharaj Ambarish did not care for it at all, for he knew very well that all such opulence is material. Like that which is imagined in a dream, such opulence will ultimately be destroyed. The king knew that any non devotee who attains such opulence merges increasingly into material nature's mode of darkness.
Yeah. Sukadeva Goswami said Maharaj Ambarish. So why we are talking about Maharaj Ambarish? Because we are talking about the descendants of Vaivasvata Manu. So here we are talking about which descendant of Vaivasvata Manu, which son? Nabhaga. Nabhaga's son is Nabhaga, Nabhaga's son is Ambarish Maharaj. And then Ambarish Maharaj is a great devotee, is already said. But also one more point was said that even though he was cursed by a Brahmana, the curse didn't touch him. So this intrigued Parikshit Maharaj. Oh, how is it that a Brahmana's curse can never go in vain? How did it not act on Ambarish Maharaj? Besides, Ambarish Maharaj is such a great devotee. I want to hear about his life, his activities. So that's why we are hearing about Ambarish Maharaj. So what is Sukadeva Goswami saying here in this verse? Maharaj Ambarish, the most fortunate personality, achieved the rule of the entire world consisting of 7 islands. Okay, so this is and achieved inexhaustible, unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. So, in previous yugas, earth, actually, when you say earth, it can be taken in different ways, right? There is earth can mean Bhumandala, earth can mean Bharat Varsha, earth can mean Bharatakhanda, depends on how you take it. So here when it is saying 7 islands, that means what? You have central Jambudvip, and then you have, Shalmali Dvip, Lakshadvip, like that, 7 islands. Remember, Maharaj Agnidra, he went around and he, not Maharaj, was it Maharaj Agnidra or was it Priyavrat Maharaj? Agnidra, right? Inya, you remember? Who went on his chariot and he divided the whole uh, Bhumandala into 7 islands with 7 oceans. So in between, the ridges were filled with water. Water means there are different liquids. After each island, there's a different liquid. So like this. So Ambarish Maharaj was the ruler of all the 7 islands, it is said. Okay. Sukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Ambarish, the most fortunate personality, achieved the rule of the entire world consisting of 7 islands and achieved inexhaustible, unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. Although such a position is rarely obtained, Maharaj Ambarish did not care for it at all, for he knew very well that all such opulence is material. So this is the sign of a pure devotee. We, uh, we hear in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? He sees 6th chapter also and 14th chapter also we read for someone in the 14th chapter it is said someone who has transcended the 3 modes. What is the symptom for him? Whether pebbles or gold, it's the same. Makes no difference to him. And also in the 6th chapter we read that someone who has controlled his mind, what are the symptoms? Heat or cold, stones or gold, he doesn't see any difference. It's all the same. Like that. Someone who has transcended the material modes. So, what to speak of a pure devotee? Transcending the material modes is just coming to a spiritual platform. But to become a pure devotee, will he give any value to material things? He won't see any difference between gold and stone. So why he will think gold is, or property or power, position, fame? He will see this as temporary. But for a materialistic person, it is something to be really proud about, isn't it? If you're a materialistic person, let's say if you become the president of the United States, wouldn't you be proud? Wouldn't you go and tell everyone, like let's say your child becomes the president of the United States, how proud you will feel and how proud your child would feel?
We don't need
And
to
what?
tell everyone will know.
Like people in India may not know, so you'll call them and tell them, see. But here was Ambarish Maharaj, not just one small country on this planet, on this Bharatakhanda, but he was the ruler of all the 7 islands. And it is said in the verse itself, it's a very rare position. It's not possible for anyone to get such a position. But Ambarish Maharaj had such a rare position, but still he didn't consider it worth at all, like, something to be very proud of or to be attached to. So, yeah, he achieved inexhaustible, another thing, inexhaustible, right? Avyaya, that which will never be finished. He had such opulence that would never be finished. Unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. Although such a position is rarely obtained, Maharaj Ambarish did not care for it at all. For he knew very well that all such opulence is material. Material means what? It won't stay. A material means it has a beginning and an end. That is material. So, how much ever you accumulate here, you will have to leave it. It's not going to stay. So, a devotee knows that. So, Ambarish Maharaj didn't care for it. Like that which is imagined in a dream, such opulence will ultimately be destroyed. Like that which is imagined in a dream. Like in a dream, you will see that you are in a palace, you are the queen, and you have so many servants and so on and so forth, and you would like the dream to go on, so you don't want to wake up. But the reality is you have to wake up and the dream is going to be finished. So a devotee knows that all material opulences are they're all material. Like material opulences are like a dream. The dream has to come to an end. So all these material opulences also will be certainly taken away. The more we are attached to them now, the more painful it is when they are taken away. The more we are attached to it now, the more painful it will be when it is taken away. But if we are not attached to it, it's going to be taken away anyway. There's no question of keeping it. It's going to be taken away. But if you're not attached to it now, then it won't hurt you when it is taken away. So Ambarish Maharaj knew it's all material, so he was not attached to it. He thought it was like a dream, which is going to be destroyed ultimately. The king knew that any non-devotee who attains such opulence merges increasingly into material nature's mode of darkness. And someone who's not a devotee, what will he do? This is mine, isn't it? So this is mine and I have to enjoy it. And with that mentality, he'll go deeper and deeper into the mode of ignorance, into the mode of darkness. So let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport. Arunita, not ready? Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Sukadeva Goswami said,
Purport.
For a devotee, material opulence is insignificant, whereas for a non-devotee, material opulence is the cause of increasing bondage. For a devotee knows that anything material is temporary, whereas a non-devotee regards the temporary so-called happiness as everything and forgets the path of self-realization. Thus, for the non-devotee, material opulence is a disqualification for spiritual advancement.
For a non-devotee, material opulence is a disqualification for spiritual advancement. It's not a disqualification for a devotee. Is material opulence a disqualification for a devotee or no?
No, because they don't care for it. They're not entangled with it. They're using it for Krishna.
Yeah, they don't see it as theirs. Yeah, they see it as all Krishna's property, use it in Krishna's service, and they are not attached to it. Yes. So they see it for what it is. The whole problem is Maya. Maya means that which is not. We accept that which is not real to be real, and this is Maya. So the wealth is there, the proprietor of the wealth is also there, but I come in and I claim this is mine. My claiming something as mine is Maya. And what happens as a result of this Maya? I'm getting deeper and deeper, more and more deeply bound in the mode of ignorance. So therefore, if I'm not a devotee, again, if I am a devotee, then like Ambarish Maharaj, I will not care for wealth. So that itself will tell us whether, we should not judge anyone else, but we can look into our own hearts and see, am I a devotee or not? Right? Because a devotee means he sees wealth as a dream. Right? This is just like a dream. It's going to be finished. He has no attachment for post, for position, for property, for uh, what else? Family, anything material. He has no attachment, like Ambarish Maharaj. And for such a person, even if you give everything, no problem. Ambarish Maharaj had the whole Bhumandala under him. But because he was a devotee, he had no attachment for it at all. But for a non-devotee, you should not, wealth is an impediment. If I'm a non-devotee, wealth is an impediment in my progress of bhakti. So how do I know if I'm a devotee or if I'm not a devotee? If I'm a devotee, then I will not care about wealth. I will not be attached to wealth. If I'm a non-devotee, then I will have attachment to wealth. So if I have attachment to wealth, then wealth is an impediment in self-realization. Then for such people, give up wealth. Simple living, high thinking, which is for all of us actually. That's the motto. Simple living, high thinking is the motto for all of us. Because we are still not devotees yet. We are aspiring to be devotees. So when we are aspiring to be devotees, then we cannot imitate Ambarish Maharaj and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Right? Okay, continuation. So what did we read in this verse? Ambarish Maharaj saw, even though he had such a position, which is rarely even possible for a person, he had all the 7 islands under his rule, still he didn't care for it. Why? Because he saw it as material. It's like a dream which is ultimately going to be destroyed. And Sukadeva Goswami is also saying that, but for a non-devotee, if he possesses this type of opulence, he will become intoxicated. And then he will go deeper and deeper into the mode of darkness. Next. Okay, next. वासुदेवे भगवति तद्भक्तेषु च साधुषु प्राप्तो भावं परं विश्वं येनेदं लोष्ट्रवत् स्मृतम्. Achintyadev Prabhu.
Hare Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Translation. Maharaj Ambarish was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, and of the saintly person who are the Lord's devotees. Because of this devotion, he thought the entire universe as being insignificant as a piece of stone. Thank you, Mataji.
He was a great devotee. Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva and of the saintly persons who are the Lord's devotees. Is it possible that someone can be just a great devotee of the Lord and not a devotee of the devotees? No, it's not possible. Because the way to the Lord is through his devotees only. So Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord and also of the saintly persons who are the Lord's devotees. Because of this devotion, which devotion? Devotion to Lord Vasudeva and devotion to Lord Vasudeva's devotees. Because of this devotion, he thought of the entire universe as being as insignificant as a piece of stone. Like that, right? So, nothing has any value separate from Krishna. Everything has value when it can be used in Krishna's service. Otherwise, it's of no value. Like that. Next, Inba. Famous verse. This is actually a memorization verse. If you can memorize it, this is like a gem. One of those gems of Bhagavatam verses. Memorize it. Savai manah Krishna padara vindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane karau harer mandiramarjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta satkathodaye मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शने दृशौ तद्भृत्य गात्रस्पर्शेऽङ्गसङ्गमम् घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्यारसनां तदर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो हृषीकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यथोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयारतिः Inba.
Yes, Mataji. Maharaj Ambarisha always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples and Krishna's places like Madhura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires.
Very nice. So what did we read in the first two verses? First two verses means previous two verses. That Ambarish Maharaj, he had such a position, but he didn't care for it. He thought it's just like a dream. And then we read that he was a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva and of the devotees. Because of this devotion, he didn't consider what to speak of his jurisdiction, right? 7 islands. But he didn't consider even the whole universe as of any value. He just looked at it like a piece of stone or something. How was he able to do this? How was he able to do this? What type of devotion did Ambarish Maharaj do that we see in this verse? How was he engaging? Or in other words, you can also say, how can we come to this position like Ambarish Maharaj, where you are not attached to wealth, you consider everything material to be insignificant. See, now I am here, I am attached. I want to go there where I will not be attached to wealth, I will not be attached to material things. I want to get there. How to cover this distance? What should I do to get there? Right? So, how did Ambarish Maharaj engage in devotional service? He always engaged his mind. His mind. You know how many senses we have? We have 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and we have the mind. The mind is called the 6th sense. Maharaj Ambarish engaged all his senses in serving the Lord. How? He engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. His words, his speech in describing the glories of the Lord. His hands in cleansing the Lord's temple. His ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or words about Krishna. So either Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam and other Puranas. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples, Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan, seeing. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. You go and touch their lotus feet. Of course, we were reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita today or yesterday, last night, that we should not, Srila Prabhupada said, you shouldn't allow people in general to touch your feet because they just drop off their sins on you, and that will choke your own progress, devotional progress. But at the same time, someone who's like Ambarish Maharaj, what karma does he have, right? And that instruction is especially given for non-devotees. Prabhupada says that also. Those who are not initiated, Srila Prabhupada said, don't allow anyone who's not initiated to touch the feet. Why? Because the person has not taken initiation means he has not made any commitment yet. So only initiated disciples are allowed to touch the feet of the spiritual master. So Ambarish Maharaj is such a pure devotee because the dust from the lotus feet, these are the 3 things which nourish our bhakti. What are the 3 things that nourish our bhakti? Anyone knows? One is the dust from the lotus feet.
Remnant from the sadhu.
Charanamrit, yes. And the third one? Third one is foot wash, one is dust, and there is another one. I forget.
Serving the Guru.
Prasadam, remnants. Prasadam, their food left by them. After sadhus eat, whatever is left by them, that remnants. These are the 3 things. These are extremely powerful in progressing in bhakti. Of course, it depends on the power of the sadhu also. The more advanced a devotee, the more powerful. But these 3 things, the charanamrit, dust, and the remnants. So if you get them, you must be very greedy to get that. So similarly, touching the lotus feet, getting the dust from the feet of sadhus, that is also, that is a part of bhakti. So Ambarish Maharaj, how would he engage his hands? Not hands, his sense of touch by touching the bodies of devotees, either touching their lotus feet or touching their bodies and embracing them, depending on the relationship. Equals, juniors, superiors, there are different ways, right? Juniors, when they come and bow down, then seniors touch their heads. Equals, they embrace and they touch. Superiors, you go and touch their feet, like that. So Ambarish Maharaj was engaging his sense of touch by touching the bodies of devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasadam. Okay? And so these were the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Of course, hands already the working senses. He used the hands to clean the temple. What else? Legs. His legs in walking to holy places and temples of the Lord. So legs are used, you walk to the temple. Well, nowadays we drive drive to the temple, or yeah, that is also engaging. And then from the parking lot you walk to the temple. So yes, engaging his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord. His head in bowing down before the Lord. So you go in front of the Lord, you bow down, right? Head in bowing down before the Lord. And all his desires. He's also engaging all his desires. So I have some desires, right? All of us have some desires. I would like this, I would like that. Uh, you know, maybe about eating or type of clothes you want to wear or type of house you want to live in. We have some desires. My desires should be dovetailed with Krishna's desires. Dovetailing my desire with Krishna's desire. That means I desire what Krishna desires. For example, let's take eating. I feel like eating pizza from the Pizza Hut. Then if I were Ambarish Maharaj, what would I do? What would I do? Tell me. How would I dovetail that?
No, that first of all, that desire will not come that I want to.
Yeah.
His desire will be like what Krishna would like to eat today. So that's
Yeah. So my desire, so I will not have any desire which is separate from Krishna's desire. I would desire what Krishna likes. What are the different food items that Krishna likes? And I will make an effort to make the best preparation for Krishna's pleasure. So in that way, my desire to eat is actually now dovetailed in satisfying Krishna's desire too. And by doing that, actually, Srila Prabhupada also said that, for example, deity worship. Anyone who dresses the deity very beautifully, the person becomes very beautiful. So if you are fond of decorating yourself, if you are fond of looking beautiful, you dress Krishna so beautifully, then you yourself will look very beautiful. This is called dovetailing our desires in Krishna's service. Like that. So Ambarish Maharaj uh, engaged all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Look at that. 24 hours a day. This is what? 24 hours a day is what? Ananya Bhakti. 24/7. All his desires 24 hours are simply to satisfy Krishna, serve Krishna. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarish never desired anything for his own sense gratification, like Aditi Lata Mataji said just now. First of all, he won't even have a desire like that. I want to eat this or that. He never, Ambarish Maharaj never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So, sadhana bhakti means you're endeavoring to do this. Engaging all your senses in the Lord's service, if not all, at least one sense or two, three, or how many, or all. But 24 hours, you are trying to engage your senses in Krishna's service. That is Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti, that is Ananya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti. But when you cross Anartha Nivritti and Nishta and you get Ruchi, now you enter into spontaneous. There you don't have to endeavor, it happens naturally. It happens naturally. You cannot stay even for a moment without engaging in devotional service to the Lord. But both are Ananya Bhakti. That is also Ananya Bhakti, and actually making an endeavor. You don't have that natural taste to do it all the time, but you push yourself. I must do this. I must do this. Why you push yourself? Because you got Shraddha, you got faith that this is what I am supposed to do. This is my only duty. Nothing else is important. Only bhakti to Krishna is important. So you push yourself as much as possible and you keep increasing more and more and more. That is called Ananya Bhakti. And then when you come to higher stages, then you don't have to push yourself. Like a pendulum, it's automatically going like this. So automatically you're constant, like even if for some reason, if the mind is drawn away, the mind automatically comes back to Krishna. That's in Asakti stage. Now, for us, we have to pull the mind from material things to Krishna. We have to try to, at least when we are chanting, hopefully we are trying at least to bring the mind to Krishna, because the mind is going away all the time. But in advanced stages, the mind is always in Krishna. When it is pulled away from Krishna, automatically it comes back to Krishna. So, Ambarish Maharaj was not. But for us here, Sukadeva Goswami is saying this is the way to increase attachment. So if you are trying to increase your attachment for the Lord and become free from all material desires, then you should endeavor to engage all your senses in Krishna's service as much as possible, 24 hours. Purport, Inia. We are running out.
Yes, Mataji. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 1, the Lord recommends Maya Sakta Manapata Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha. This indicates that one must execute devotional service under the guidance of a devotee or directly under the guidance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not possible, however, to train oneself without guidance from the spiritual master. Therefore, according to the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, the first business of a devotee is to accept a bona fide spiritual master who can train him to engage in various senses in rendering transcendental service to the Lord. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 1, Asamshayam samagrammam yathavnyasyasi tatshuno. In other words, if one wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in completeness, one must follow the prescriptions given by Krishna by following in the footsteps of Ambarish Maharaj. It is said, Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Bhakti means to engage in the service, engage the senses in the service of the master of the senses, Krishna, who is called Hrishikesha or Archita. These words are used in these verses. Achyuta Satkathodaye Hrishikesha Padabhivandane. The words Achyuta and Hrishikesha are also used in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha spoken directly by Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha because everything described in the Bhagavatam is in relationship with Krishna.
Yes. So Srila Prabhupada is giving purport to this verse. Yeah. So if you remember, I told you in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita is talking about different types of bhakti. There is Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, like that. And then Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, all different types of bhakti. Not all, but yeah. Different types of bhakti are spoken in the seventh chapter. So the very first verse is talking about Ananya Bhakti. Maya Sakta Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah. So Maya Sakta Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah. The Lord is recommending this. That means Srila Prabhupada is saying one must execute devotional service under the guidance of a devotee or under the guidance of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is recommending how you can render your devotional service. So under the Lord's guidance or under a direct representative of the Lord. That means accepting a spiritual master is essential if you want to do pure devotional service. Same thing what Krishna said. So same message comes in the parampara. Srila Rupa Goswami says the same thing, right? You must accept a spiritual master. And if you do, what is the result? Asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasyasi. You can know him completely and without doubt. If you follow this path of accepting a spiritual master and you follow the procedure the way the spiritual master has given, then you can know me in full without doubt, Krishna is saying. That means if you want to know the Supreme Lord completely, then you follow Tachrinu. You hear how to do that. That means I am telling you, you listen to me, Krishna is saying. What is Krishna saying? Krishna is saying, follow in the footsteps of Ambarish Maharaj. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. One must follow the prescriptions given by Krishna by following in the footsteps of Maharaj Ambarish. See, Maya Sakta, Asakta. So of course, here we are talking about Asakti stage. Remember I told you just a couple of minutes ago, in Asakti stage, you're in spontaneous devotional service. So this 7.1 is talking about that bhakti, spontaneous devotional service, the Asakti stage. So, if one wants to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead in completeness, one must follow the prescriptions given by Krishna by following in the footsteps of Maharaj Ambarish. What did Ambarish Maharaj do? He used all his senses in serving the master of the senses. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. And that is bhakti. If you're using your senses in the service of the master of the senses, then that is called bhakti. Bhakti means to engage the senses in the service of the master of the senses. And Krishna's other name is Rishikesha and Achyuta. In this verse, how does Ambarish Maharaj use his ears? What does it say? Shrutim Chakarachyuta Satkathodaye. Achyuta. Achyuta Satkathodaye. Achyuta Katha means Krishna Katha. Either Krishna's words or words about Krishna. That means either Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. So if we follow in the footsteps of Ambarish Maharaj, that means exactly the way Ambarish Maharaj did. How did he use his eyes? He would take darshan of the deity, he would take darshan of the holy places, How did he use his ears hearing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? How did he use his nose smelling tulsi which is offered to the lotus feet of Krishna? How did he use his tongue tasting prasadam, which is the remnants of the Lord or his devotees? And what else? Touching the bodies of the devotees, hands cleansing the temple of the Lord, legs walking to the temples, walking to the temples of the Lord, to the deities. His mind meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. His desires, all his desires are simply to serve the Lord. So if we follow in the footsteps of Ambarish Maharaj like this, that is Krishna's instruction. Maya sakta manah partha yogam yunjan madashraya asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasasi tachrinu. Then you will know me in full without doubt, Krishna is saying. And what is Srila Prabhupada saying? That you can do pure devotional service either under the guidance, direct guidance of Krishna, or under the guidance of his pure devotee. So if we follow Ambarish Maharaj's footsteps, then we can also become pure devotee. Okay? So we will stop there. I have to read Bhagavad Gita and Leelamrita. We are over time. We'll read quickly. Okay? Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text I think 67 or 68. Okay, we read 67 already. Please repeat. Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vaishyatya samshayah. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. What is the supreme secret? Let's see who remembers. What is the supreme secret? What is the most confidential knowledge?
Sarvadharman Parityajya. Mamekam Sharanam.
Yes. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma shuchaha. Surrender to Krishna. So one who explains this to the devotees, anyone who explains that you should surrender to Krishna, to such a devotee, Krishna is saying pure devotional service is guaranteed. So what are we waiting for? Of course, first we should surrender, and then we should also tell others to surrender, isn't it? Then it is effective. But we can endeavor to surrender, and we can inspire others also to surrender. So this verse says that for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Purport. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees, will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Very powerful statement. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is. How can we accept Krishna as he is? How can we accept Krishna as he is? What we discussed just now, huh?
By faith and surrender, yeah, by faith.
How do you get faith?
By mercy. Surrender will come only if I have faith.
Yes. Surrender will come when you have faith. But how faith will come?
If I have mercy. of Krishna or devotee?
So when you get mercy, then you'll get faith. By mercy directly you'll get faith.
My endeavor and everything depends on ultimately the mercy, right? Krishna says in
Ultimately, but immediately,
because
what
Krishna
leads to
mentions
faith?
Krishna endeavor.
It's not endeavor. Hearing, you have to hear from Shastra. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Shastra you have to hear in the association of devotees. That's what is going to build your faith. But for you to hear from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, you need mercy from devotees. So first, devotees will meet you and they'll tell you about Bhagavad Gita. So that mercy you need. But after that, when you start hearing in the association of devotees again and again and again, that hearing will actually keep building your Shraddha, your faith. And as your Shraddha is increasing, proportionately you will also start surrendering to the Lord. When you get full Shraddha, then you will fully surrender to the Lord. Okay. So here, this point is those who do not accept Krishna as he is. So my question was, how can we accept Krishna as he is? We can accept when we hear. First we should know Krishna, then we will accept him as he is. If we hear something else, or what to speak of if we concoct in our own minds, right? Some story, and then we'll just tell, then Prabhupada is saying, then we become offenders. We cannot make up anything. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is. We have many Bhagavad Gitas in the market, right? Are they all as it is? No. Their Bhagavad Gita, supposedly Sanskrit is there, but the meanings that they've given of Bhagavad Gita, it's not as it is. So if we do that, either verbally or in written form, we give our own meanings, trying to be scholarly and smart, then we actually, instead of doing some benefit, we will be doing great disservice and also committing offenses. That's a grave, admonition from Srila Prabhupada here. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Not that, oh, that person won't understand if I say Krishna, so I won't use the word Krishna, I'll say God. Or someone else will twist something else. No. If the person is not willing to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, don't tell Bhagavad Gita to him. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. So what is required here is sincere endeavor. Sincerely present Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if you have studied one verse, present it as it is, that one verse. Yes, Achinta Dev Prabhu.
Mataji, when we say accept Krishna as he is, does it mean that as a Supreme Personality of Godhead or something else?
Yeah, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the way Krishna explains himself. Several times it will come, even in the 10th chapter, Krishna, when speaking to Arjun, we see in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, Krishna points to himself like this body. That means, because people will think Krishna means the person Krishna who's on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, his body is material, but inside him Inside this body is that Supreme Paramatma, now who has come in a material body. That type of acceptance is not accepting Krishna as he is. So accepting Krishna as he is means the way Krishna is telling about himself exactly like that. As you said, yes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but him who is there standing in front of Arjun, that person, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for him, his body and him has no difference. That very Bhagavan is standing right there in front in his Sachidananda Vigraha form. Not that his body is material. That's just one. And then there are so many different types of people come with all types of, apa philosophies, right? Not real philosophy, false philosophies. So that type of accepting Krishna will not help. That's the point. You have to accept Krishna as Krishna is telling about himself. So again, how we will know what is Krishna saying? For that we need to hear from the Acharya, from the Guru Parampara, then only we will know. So first we have to hear about Krishna, and then we have to give the same knowledge to others. Others means only to devotees, because this is confidential knowledge. So that is why depends on who you are speaking to. If someone does not have devotional sentiments yet, then just bring him to the level of you're not this body, you're the spirit soul. At least to that level you can bring him, right? But to speak about Krishna, then unless that person accepts Krishna as Bhagavan, there's no point in explaining surrender to Krishna and all that. Right? They'll commit offenses, and that becomes offense on our part. Right? To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name, that becomes an offense. Like that. So Bhagavad Gita, this confidential knowledge is meant for the devotees. But Srila Prabhupada said, last line, Srila Prabhupada said, if a sincere person tries to present Bhagavad Gita as it is to the devotees, right? So, of course, you want to give mercy. Sometimes you just give the book in their hand. That's okay. That's okay. Srila Prabhupada told us to distribute books, Bhagavad Gita, and yeah, so you give the book. But if, especially generally when we are talking to them, and like this in classes also, you should cultivate the person gradually, seeing where that person is at, and then feed them little. Let them come to the point of accepting Krishna as Bhagavan first, before giving all the confidential details. That's the point. Okay. Yeah. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advance in devotional activities. Yeah. So we carry it out as the order of Srila Prabhupada, like those of you who are engaged in book distribution, trying to touch, the conditioned souls somehow or other, give some prasadam, give them a book. That Srila Prabhupada told us to do, so we do that. That's fine. But explaining, discussing, Srila Prabhupada is saying, Bhagavad Gita is to be discussed amongst devotees only. You cannot discuss it in a group of people, in a social gathering where, they're talking about business and this and that, and they're not interested in Bhagavan, and, I mean, you can start a conversation, a philosophical discussion to bring them to that level eventually. But again, how much can you give them? Depends on what is their level at. If they don't even accept Krishna as Bhagavan, then what is the point in giving confidential details about Krishna? Achintadev Prabhu.
Mataji, with now Zoom all around, so we've seen devotees saying that bring prospective devotees new devotees who don't know much about it. They are brought to the class, and along with devotees, the class is taken along with them. So, what about them? So, there we are also discussing the details of Gita, right?
Normally, we would have separate classes for brand new people who are not introduced to Krishna consciousness yet or just newly introduced. We would hold separate classes for them normally. Or even a brand new person, if he came to the temple, in that uh, atmosphere, because of that assembly of devotees, he gets uplifted. If he has that sincerity to come and sit every day in the classes, then his consciousness will be uplifted because of that association. So in Zoom, my experience is, Prabhuji, new people don't last long. I mean, if they're not serious, they don't last long. They don't stay long. So we give them a chance to come, but only those who are really, if you're not a devotee, you won't find it interesting, actually. You'll think it's too boring. Let me do something which is more fun. So they won't be interested. Yes, we call new people, but how many are actually joining every day? Tell me.
Yes, Mataji. But they do at least once or twice they come, and then they are not interested. They go away. But
Yeah.
are coming along with the general. Same in the temple also, right? So we don't know how what's the consciousness of the person coming. Sometimes they come, drop in on a special occasion, stay for a.
But they are not. They are not the majority there. You
No.
understand?
Yes.
This is a temple actually. It's an online temple. It's like you go and sit in a Bhagavatam class in the temple. It's like that.
Yeah.
They are welcome to come and ask their questions, and we can try to answer their questions. But this is a setup, as opposed to you go to a party where there's a bunch of people drinking and smoking and socializing, and there you try to present.
No.
So there they will be the majority. That will be an offense. In that gathering you're trying to speak Bhagavad Gita, that would be an offense.
Okay.
This is actually a Bhagavatam class. All people, devotees here, they're all devotees. They have come here to hear Bhagavatam. And if a new person comes here, he would have the same effect as someone goes to the temple. Of course, because the cameras are turned off and you're in your own places, the responsibility is on each one of you, how much you are actually taking benefit of that. I'm sitting here for these 1.5 hours or over that, I sit in one place and I'm talking. But how many of you are actually able to sit and take? That's on you individually. I don't have control on that. So a new person has the opportunity. Take advantage of this, come and sit here. So if he is sincere, if he tries to come every day, then he will also benefit. And if he thinks after one day, this is not my thing, he won't come the next day onwards. What can be done? But this is not as offensive. Uh, it's really here the instruction is to the speaker. So who is the speaker speaking to here? Here the majority is everyone is a devotee here. So even if a new person comes, the new person will also get the benefit of the association of devotees. So you got the point, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah. Generally this happens when we have friends, we get together and then we just start throwing some words and we start arguing, debating. That's not required. If they're not devotees, don't entertain.
So,
Entertain
so what
like
we are
that.
saying It should not be part of a casual discussion.
Right. Right. You should always make clear your position as a devotee. Don't get pulled into their talk or their or you feel such a circumstance, then move out of there. Don't stay in that.
Thank you much.
Or just sometimes you may have to go there for some, then just finish your business there and that's it. It can even be one or two people. So again, it's all about how sincere the other person is, and if they really want to know, that's a whole different thing. He may be a brand new person, but he wants to know. He's curious to know. Then to that extent, you will answer. So here, this purport is talking about the preacher. If you are sincere and you are presenting as it is, then you will actually make advancement. Krishna is saying you will make advancement in your devotional service. So again, your sincere means you are seeing the other person, what is that person's attitude. Is he sincerely wanting to know? Then you are spending time and you are explaining things, then that's good. Like that. Stop.
Mataji, one point here. When Guru Maharaj also takes classes.
One second, Mataji. 1 second. So it's already 22 minutes over time. So if anybody needs to go, please you can go, or you don't feel bad. You can leave if you need to leave. I'll just take some questions. Now that I'm in India, so I'm just taking the liberty to stretch it. But if you need to go, please feel free. Yes, Mataji. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Like Guru Maharaj also, when he takes class, he actually scans the room, where he's taking the class. Depending on the types of devotees, like whatever stage they are, class also pertains to that. Like he won't say Chaitanya Charitamrita when there are new devotees, but he will discuss Bhagavad Gita. The
Right.
basic. So that is what is mentioned here, that we don't give details, go deep when there are new devotees who is not fully aware of Krishna.
But even Bhagavad Gita also, here we are talking about Bhagavad Gita only, not Chaitanya Charitamrita. This purport is saying even Bhagavad Gita should be discussed only amongst devotees, but amongst devotees.
Like there also we can always, the secret part should be kept secret, and the
Correct.
basics can be told to the new devotees.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really moving. I don't know, slow, but let's just read a little bit of Leelamrita, Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. It's quite hot here in Mayapur. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. I'll just read one paragraph. He stayed in a small, unfurnished apartment. This thing is coming in between. Okay. He stayed in a small, unfurnished apartment. So Prabhupada is in Bombay now. He went to meet with Sumati Morarji. Finally, she agreed. Yes, she agreed. He stayed in a small, unfurnished apartment with only his trunk and typewriter. The resident Skindia employees all knew that Mrs. Morarji was sending him to the West, and some of them became interested in his cause. They were impressed, for although he was so old, he was going abroad to preach. He was a special sadhu, a scholar. They heard from him how he was taking hundreds of copies of his books with him, but no money. He became a celebrity at the Skindia colony. Various families brought him rice, sabji, and fruit. They brought so much that he could not eat it all. And he mentioned this to Mr. Choksi. Just accept it and distribute it, Mr. Choksi advised. Bhaktivedanta Swami then began giving remnants of his food to the children. Some of the older residents gathered to hear him as he read and spoke from Srimad Bhagavatam. Mr. Vasavada, the chief cashier of Scindia, was particularly impressed and came regularly to learn from the sadhu. Mr. Vasavada obtained copies of Bhaktivedanta Swami's books and read them in his home. So he actually, even before going to West, right, people were coming and taking Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatams. Bhaktivedanta Swami's apartment shared a roof in veranda with Mr. Nagarajan, a Scindia office worker, and his wife. We'll continue reading tomorrow. Thank you all so much. You all stayed almost half an hour longer. Hare Krishna. I'll try
Thank you,
to end it
Mataji,
on
for
time.
taking so much pain for us, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.